Hello and welcome to another episode of Tribunal of the Grid, where we talk about all things Power Rangers, including the actors that play them. My name is Brandon.
I am Lena.
And today we don't have Will, unfortunately.
No.
So it's the duo of the grid. But it's okay. It's completely fine. But we do have three people today because we are joined by a very special guest. Now, you may know him as the Red Ranger, Troy Burrows from Power Rangers MegaForce and Power Rangers Super MegaForce. Please give a warm welcome to Andrew Gray. How are you, Andrew?
I'm doing fabulous. You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. How are you enjoying this quarantine?
Do you want me to be honest?
Right?
I mean, you really want me to be honest about that?
Well, it sounds like you're doing pretty good. You're keeping that instrument really sharp, man, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be here.
No problem. Well, thank you. Thank you for the compliment. And thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
No, thank you.
Well, let's just go ahead and jump right into the interview. First of all, we just want to know, growing up as a kid, what kind of kid were you?
I was an attention-seeking kid because my parents divorced at a young age. So I was pretty independent. I was in a lot of athletics. I was a class clown, I would say. I definitely enjoyed watching Power Rangers and Spider-Man and stuff like that. So I would kind of act that stuff out. But I would also act out stuff in class, like Jim Carrey sketches and stuff like that. So I was a pretty animated kid. Definitely animated.
Wow. So did that inspire you to go into acting, or what made you make that decision?
Again, going at the root of it, and it's like the deep thing to talk about, I guess, but just childhood with relations to my parents. That's what really, seeing them in distress, wanting them put into a place of ease and at peace, and keeping everything at peace, through comedy, through whatever that was just getting the attention off the negative. So I was just constantly acting as I saw them brought joy. And I feel like that sparked it. And then when I was down and watched In Living Color at that time with my mother on Saturdays, which was her only night off working two jobs, that brought her so much joy. So then to carry on mimicking Jim Carrey's Fire Marshal Bill or, Jamie Foxx, Wanda, would keep her going, laughing throughout, the whole week until the next weekend, which was really, really great. And so that kind of kept it going throughout the years. And then it just, kept turning into something else as I got older, and it was starting to look towards other beacons of hope, other than Jim Carrey. If it was like Christoph Waltz or Christian Bale, stuff like that, just kept growing and growing and growing as my love for it. It's a snowball effect from there.
Wow.
Gotcha.
It's amazing. Did you not? When you guys get to a place of neutral in your life where it becomes easier and easier, or more easy, to get into a sense of neutral, then acting just becomes very natural at that point. And then I really still feel like you start to take off. You start to get traction.
Wow.
It's hard for people themselves on camera, guys. It's so hard. Because most people, including myself, haven't always had a pleasant relationship with myself or with my physical form or my spiritual form or whatever that is. So it's actually really hard to play yourself on camera.
Wow.
So would you say that your acting kind of helped you to be able to accept and be able to grow with yourself and stuff like that, or?
Absolutely. There were just so many things in acting that you are not yourself. So if you have a conflict with doing a part of a role, you just realize you have a conflict with self that you never realized you had before. That it makes you feel uncomfortable or go against your moral compass or your value code, and now you're judging the character, and that's what you should never do. But you learn along the way what feels right and what doesn't, and where do you have to just let go and embrace the suck, or embrace the good of it, whatever it is. There's no destination to that character. You're now just on that path. And that's what I really like. I like getting lost in it. Remembered it, but with some extra special sauce that they're going to enjoy now, you know?
Mm. That's actually a really good way of putting it.
I agree.
Now, when it comes to you, you know, you're now pursuing acting and everything. Now, I know that when I remember when like the auditions was rolling around and stuff like that. I did see like a lot of photos of you as doing modeling. Did you start out as a model before you became an actor, or how did modeling fit in there?
It actually was one and the same.
Okay.
I wanted to get further into acting since elementary school, and had interest in it, shared that with my mother, and she wanted to take me up to San Francisco. That was the closest thing. I'm from Sacramento. And where I grew up, because of living more in a poverty-ish setting, a single mom kind of thing, 2 jobs, going to school, that where was I going with that? That I wanted to get into acting, but there just wasn't that many outlets. And I felt insecure about it at that age. I felt embarrassed to act, to be honest with you. Because the kids just weren't into that stuff. You know, they were a lot more into sports and just kind of being, you know, hardcore. So I wanted to do it, and I ended up getting into it late by chance. My brother actually took me to pick me up from a sporting event that I was doing, and he took me with his girlfriend to an acting/modeling school. And not wanting to be stuck in the car, already being, you know, 4 hours into practice, and it was like 110 degrees outside of summertime.
Oh my God.
I went inside. I was like, this is nice. I'll wait here in the waiting room and you guys do your thing. Even though I really, really wanted to go for acting, I really wanted to say something, but I didn't. I felt insecure. But the guys came outside, and one of the coaches, whatever, pointed at her and moved over to me and said, hey, have you ever thought of modeling? No, none at all. And he's like, well, I think you should give it a shot. And I was like, well, I'd really like to act. He's like, well, we got acting here too. We can teach you how to do both. And there's going to be a competition in the next 4 months. We'd like to take you there to New York and kind of exploit you. And they, you know, taught me what exploit means. And hopefully brag about you later in the future if you take off or if you win this. And if I won it, that would mean that I would just be able to have a platform to choose from different management companies and agencies who would seek interest in me if they had any, and they did. So that was my launch into getting representation and getting further into acting, again, off of just getting picked up from school, having a big interest to do it, but then the platform was just there. I had no idea we were going to go there. And I may have, honestly, I've told this, I don't think I would probably be here if he didn't do that, take that leap, because I wasn't that secure in myself at a younger age. I was still trying to, I was still figuring out what circle I belonged in, you know, and you know how high school can be. It's clicky.
Don't remind us.
If you're a rapper, are you a beatboxer? Are you a gangster rapper? Are you a skater? What kind of, there's all these little things to find yourself. It makes sense now, but it didn't then. And I'm happy that it all worked out this way. I said that was a long story. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. We don't mind it. We're here for it.
I got lost and we found ourselves. Okay, good. This quarantine guy, talking to myself for all this time, and this is news.
It feels good to talk to other people.
Things. It's kind of like driving. You know, I don't know if you guys have had to take trips to the grocery store, if somebody else you lived with did, or I don't know. But even getting back on the street, I can just tell some people are like learning to drive again. It's fun.
That's terrible.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, this is LA. No, not many people can drive anyway.
Granted. I wasn't going to be the
Now, so you're an actor now. You're doing your thing. How did the audition for Power Rangers come to you?
It came to me through my manager, who I met at that convention in New York. That's exactly how it came to me. This is, I think, 2-3 years into representation. She's given me a handful of things to work on and build up to. And I guess she thought I was ready. She threw me this one. She's like, Drew, you're a very animated person, like I was saying before. And she's like, I believe this is something that you can do. You said you talked about it as a kid. Would you like to do it? I was like, absolutely. You know, if the opportunity presents itself and I feel that I'm ready to go, I'm gonna do it. And that's my definition of luck. Also, it's just being prepared for the opportunity. I went and pretty good, and they just kept calling us back, which is normal, you know, for them. It's a big thing. It's a global thing. It's a global platform, and they have to make sure everything fits, everything makes sense. You know, it was great.
Right. So were you always going out for red, or did they have you going out as like a certain color and then you went to red? How did that work? Yes, I always went out for red.
Okay. I told my manager, this is when I was an actor snob. I was like, I'm only going to go out for red. If there's any other color, I'm done. I'm only going to do red.
Well, you set your standard
Eyes
high.
on the prize.
Because you know what? The focus. You know, I'm not going to... I 100% focused on being the leader and knowing what that was. You know, and then a leader is supposed to be calm, focused and intense, hopeful and within reason. You know, he needs a lead. And that's what I brought to the character, but I feel like I could have done a little bit more with it. He was a little bit too composed. Now that I was thinking, I was like, dang, man. He was really 17-year-old. He was just like stoked. He was like, yeah, man, I already figured out what I'm going to do is like Sherlock Holmes it. I'm going to punch you there, and then I'm going to hit you there, and then all right, we're good.
He was definitely an interesting character.
Right. Now, after you secure the role of Troy, right? Now, what was it like when you first got on stage on Power Morphicon when they introduced you to the world as Troy Burrows, the Red Ranger of Power Rangers MegaForce?
What was it like? It was a surreal moment. It was a moment that I feel, for me personally, as a fan of the Red Ranger and Power Rangers as a kid, is something that I felt very familiar in, but it was surreal because when you wear the suit as a kid, you always see yourself as the Ranger. So when they reveal it, now it wasn't just on television, but in real life that plays it on television. It was just a different layer of dynamic. So it just felt surreal. And I don't feel, it was like when I felt better about it as I went along, but I was nervous. I was excited. I knew there were big shoes to fill, and I was like, how can I make this my own Ranger? You know, with audience, what they want, and also knowing that that's going to be taking a risk. I felt all those things, even on stage. I think I was even shaking a little bit with excitement. Like, how are they going to perceive my version of the Red Ranger? And I feel like it went, you know, with time, people have ideas and expectations, needs before anything. They have a plan in their head, and if it doesn't hit, you know, you can get hit with a lot of stuff. But that's what acting is. So
you ain't wrong.
On that day, I was just, let's go.
Yeah.
Everybody, amazing. The chemistry on our cast. I know I hear other casts saying they have great chemistry. Man, they do. But our chemistry is just next level. I actually love every single one of my castmates. I know I take a bullet for any one of my castmates. For sure.
That's amazing.
Oh. Now, we interviewed John Mark, and he said that you guys lived together.
Yeah, we did.
And everything. What was that like?
The interviews, but we were the It's like the Real Housewives. We're the Real Ranger, New Zealand.
I think that's what he said too. That's so funny.
You know, we were like the Real World Power Ranger edition.
Yeah.
With no alcohol, you know. We had a great time living together, and we made a pact kind of in the beginning. Who's going to cook? Who's going to clean? And the guys chose to cook. The girls were like, "Yay!" And we made great meals every day, and the ladies kept the house very tidy. None of us were taking advantage of any of that. We respected it all. I feel like I was maybe between myself and Azim were the most rambunctious, doing things, you know, athletic-wise, in the house, just goofing off. We had a great time. The production really asked us not to live together because you're on set all day, 10 hours, and then you're going to be home with each other for like 5 hours, you know.
Right.
And then you're going to be in each other's faces right when you wake up in the morning, and that could lead to a negative outcome, you know, but it didn't. It actually brought us closer together. And we did have some agitation, you know, again, just of what they were saying. You're just in proximity so much. But that also led to better chemistry the next day. I mean, just think about some of the times when you saw Troy be like, "You guys dropped your weapons." That's because of something that may have happened in the household, you know? I kid you not. So when I'm looking at him, I'm just like, "Gah." You know, and eyes are piercing at him. There was things happening at that time. I feel like it all worked out. I feel like it worked great.
Oh my god. You didn't flush the toilet, guys. Damn it.
Real life experiences. So when you're living together and everything, and you're now in New Zealand doing your thing as Troy, what are your thoughts on him as a character now that you're looking back at it and everything? Like, what was your thoughts on the character of Troy?
My thoughts on the character of Troy, how it was written, or how I see it?
Both?
Both.
Yeah, both.
Honestly.
What would you want it to happen, and how it ended up, you know, what was the outcome?
I think Troy was a person who, at the end of the day, really just seeks peace in his life in connection to something greater than. His character written didn't have really any parental units, foundation to really have a firm things to stand on. So he was really a person that was aware of his situation and knowing that he was his only way out. So what I worked on doing the whole time was really just keeping him composed. I mean, think about it. His first words were, "I'm the new kid in town," right? We know what that's like to be in a new job, or at a job interview, or on a date, or in class, whatever. Just that alone is hectic. But then, you know, to have these disciplines, you see, then he also had those disciplines that kept him composed. So written wise, I think there was enough there to build upon. And I think within 2 seasons, there was enough growth to where he kind of came out of his shell a little bit, you know, to where it really opened up at the very last couple episodes. You see him like jumping and enjoy and like, all right, guys, let's, you know, doesn't have to be just one way. And that's where I feel like the show really took off, was at the end, which they mostly do because it's only 2 seasons, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Most shows take up in general in the first 2 seasons. Look at like even Entourage and stuff like that, like a group of people, right, coming together, and then the show just really takes off after that. But
no, of course.
I enjoyed what they allowed me to create, and I enjoyed the space. Like they create space in the writing because they only give so much. If they only give a little, then there's a lot to create. Yeah. But then there's only so much to create within that time window because you have to create that arc. And at the same time, too, you know, Troy is a character in every episode. There's a beginning, middle, and end. Yeah. There's a beginning and end. So you have to start over and start over and start over, but just pick up a little bit what you've learned from the last battles and add it into this one. And then
Right.
If that character gave too much right off the bat, it would have been like someone releasing a clothing line, right, and giving all the products at once. No, we want a sweater in month 2. Then we want a shirt a month later, or else they're never. Yeah, it builds and builds.
Yeah.
That was such a poor analogy. I'm sorry.
No, it was good because like that's perfect. Because if you give everything all in one shot, then what is there to look forward to, right? Nothing. Thank you. We're gonna go home now.
Every relationship's like that. Every relationship, and they'll take advantage of it too if you give it right off the bat. I don't know if you guys have nieces or nephews, but if you give them gifts, I have a nephew and he's my world. If you just give them all these things right off the bat, they don't see the value in it.
Nope, they don't.
This is true. Especially kids.
More.
All right. So your character had also had premonition abilities. Like he could see, so he could like almost kind of like see into the future as far as like what was supposed to happen. Was that supposed to be something that was a part of the storyline, or was that something that they kind of just put in there but just like dropped? What happened with that? Do you know?
I don't know specifically what happened. I don't know specifically, but I mean, it's also in just the format structure of writing. You got to tie it all in. It's a way of threading, it's a way of projecting the future onto the audience so that you can keep them more. But it was also good too, because, if you know how it's going to end, then you can just make it better every episode before. It's almost like the way you see your life in your eyes, in your mind, and you dream of this highest, truest self of you. Then you just got to kind of walk backwards. What do I need to do to get there?
Gotcha.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah, because it makes sense. But it's just like, because the way it was positioned, it was like, is he supposed to have some kind of like clairvoyant abilities? Like, what's going on? And then it was just like, never picked up again. It's like, oh, okay.
No, I think it's just more of like a purpose. It gave that character a sense of purpose, a sense of drive. But I don't think the clairvoyancy was like specific, like he's a clairvoyant. I don't think it was.
Yeah.
Just something he kept having dreams of.
That's fair.
Gotcha.
Like I've always had dreams of being an actor. I see the Oscar. I see multiple Oscars, right?
Yeah.
So we just walk back for him.
And make your way there, yeah.
If there were any changes that you could make to the character, what would they be?
Any changes? What are the changes? Wait, say one more time. If there's any changes that I can make to the...
Yeah, if there's any changes in your character that you could make, what would you want it to be?
Have more personal obstacles other than external obstacles. We always show external obstacles for them. That's great. But how do they get to that place, prepare them for it, other than martial arts training, which is a quick montage? If we see them all the time at these froyo shops and Ernie's, and they're kind of just talking about things, we need to see their preparation. What got them there and why? Why are they this? And I feel like that's what you're seeing now on television and what kids want to see now.
The froyo shop, or like the more
No, just like not the froyo shop. Sorry.
Even though we would love that. We would love to see them just chilling.
Other than just the martial arts training, like what got what got their minds to that level? What got them there? I think they're ready.
That's good.
That helped. Now you can ask me the question again. I can go again.
No.
Oh no, you're good. All right. So, what was it like filming the 20th anniversary?
Fast, but very fast paced, memorable. It was an experience. It was a very positive experience. I'll never forget it. I want to use the cliche word, fun. It was very fun. It was very fun.
Did you end up watching the final episode?
I've watched all of them, yeah, and I'm impressed of how they put it all together as a big team.
Yeah.
And they work team. Excuse me, that's New Zealand, but they also have people I believe out in the United States and in Canada, and I think some even over in Asia or Japan helping them, tie it all together and piece it all together. There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
They did a great job. I was really blown away actually when I saw the first episode and the last episode. I did it on a theater setting, and Power Rangers, the Saban, now Hasbro. Well, Saban, then they would always bring people into their office, and they have a movie theater kind of thing, and they would have their team there, their marketing team, sale, all that stuff there, and we'd watch it. Came out amazing.
No, that's amazing. No, we love the ending of how the entire universe came together for that one battle. That was a really big scene. Was it shot like that, or was it just paced together?
No, it was shot like that. The only thing
wow.
that was paced together really is the Armada shots of millions of the Armadas and the people on the mountains. Oops, I'm just knocking a cup over. There was some Rangers on the mountains, but some they had to pull footage.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I always wonder that.
A lot of people on the mountains tops, but they had layers and layers and layers.
Oh yeah. Looking back at it now, where do you think Troy would be today? Like, what would he be up to? I guess after the battle's done, and where do you think his journey would have taken him?
I think Troy would be married now, and he'd probably have 2 kids.
Okay.
I mean, if you think about it, he was 17, 18 at the time. He's a leader. You know that he's and he came off composed and mature for his age. So I'm sure he found a companion, and he's probably went off to college for sure.
Yeah.
Explored somewhere. He may have followed something in the military.
Wow.
Because it's in the military. I feel like he would become strong and noble.
Okay. Do you think he'd still be friends? Stay connected with all his friends?
Yeah, having drug over, anything like that.
We hope not.
Probably not walking the streets of Thailand right now, and I don't think he's doing that.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, it brings us to the time where we're gonna play a little game with you. It's called Ranger Name Game. So basically, Brandon's just gonna give you a list of names, and you just tell us the first memory that pops to your mind. It could be anything, embarrassing, whatever.
Okay.
All right. His first name is Ciara Hannah.
First memory is just we just laugh a lot. She's an Aquarius like myself. We just have fun. I don't know. She's just a goofball. I'm a goofball. We click. Yeah. Memory. I don't really have memories. First memory. Paris. I would say Paris. We had a lot of fun in Paris. All of us. That's all I think of. I don't know. So many of them.
All right. Next person, Azim Razik.
Azim taught me how to do the splits.
How was that?
Yeah. That was fun. He taught me how to do that on the carpet in our room, on the living room in the house that we lived in New Zealand. Stretching. That was fun. Oh, and I also have a memory. Oh, actually, go back to CR for 2 seconds. This popped in my head.
Sure.
The memory was I saw her auditioning for the Pink Ranger, and she went and jumped on Alex Hartman, who was just kind of watching the Rangers doing their tests. And I was like, she got it. And in my head, I was like, she must have gotten it because she has such a strong relationship with Alex, who was the Samurai Red Ranger. And she ran and just jumped on him. And they were like, hey, like they were best friends,
Oh, wow. We did not know that they knew each other.
Yeah. And I was like, well, she got it. And then got it. And then we started, talking about all that fun stuff. I knew Christina Masterson going into this. I feel like everybody knew somebody. We've seen each other at auditions and stuff. But going back to Azim, at the auditions, I remember him really working his sword play, I think he had nunchucks, but he had weapons, stunt weapons at the audition. He was only one of the few, and he could really kick some ass with them, kick some butt.
He came prepared.
Came prepared, over prepared. That's his aim.
Oh.
Zim came
Love it.
Zim, he didn't know. He didn't know how much they were going to milk us. Work us. Just like udders. He brought rollerblades. He brought all these stunt weapons. He brought a lot of stuff that we never got to play with.
Oh my god! I'm surprised they let him on the plane with that.
Oh, nowadays I don't know if they would for sure. That's funny. That's pretty fun.
Well, you brought up the next person, actually, Christina Masterson.
Okay. Memory of her. My first memory of her is we did one of my favorite shoots of all time. We shot for a week for Adidas in Seattle, and we traveled throughout Seattle, downtown through the Fisherman's Wharf. We went to the Puget Sound. We went to Forks and stayed in a cabin in the kind of the wilderness in front of this lake that was called Indian or Crescent Lake, and it was like glass, and you could see down hundreds of feet. It's just gorgeous, and we shot there. We shot on this not a catamaran, but kind of. It just goes over the Puget Sound, and that was my first memory with her. And then going into the audition, I saw her there, but not a whole lot, to be honest with you. And then one day we were chosen, and we went up to Saban's office to kind of just meet and greet, Q&A with everybody. She was in there. I was like, of course you are. That's amazing. Because before that, like Adidas, but before, like, this is the timeline. Adidas was here, Power Rangers was here, but in the middle, I actually went off to Thailand to do commercials and modeling stuff out there. And then across the street, she was living across the street at that time in a different building. And we ran into each other on the street, and we became friends there as well in Thailand, working. She was doing commercials and print there too.
That's crazy. What a small world.
Right?
Like, what are the chances you keep running into her?
These guys. And because of our amazing agent, who we see as family member, her name is Tabitha Minshew. She's brought us, for the con stuff to London, to Paris. They've gone out to Mexico and Brazil. We've just gone all over the world together now. We're a real family.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Like, it's sick. It's like when you're on a plane and it's like you look back and I'm like, oh, there's Zim and John in the back drinking Chivas or something. And then I'm sitting next to Tina and Ciara's up there, like, over the seat, like, hey, guys. Being, like, super creepy and weird. I'm like, what, Ciara? Are you scared? It's like, we're just like that all the time now because we're with each other all the time. And usually with people who are with each other all the time. And Cameron's like that too. I mean, like we're all in proximity and it's just really good and we take care of each other. Yeah.
So
it's kind of like Friends. When you see the set of Friends?
Yeah.
Right? And they're still like back at it?
Yeah. I'm excited for their new reunion episode.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be so good. Come on.
Oh, that's going to be cute. Next person, John Mark.
Loudermilk. I see him. My memory of him is him mimicking me. That's why, because it's like the greatest form of flattery, right? And I do this thing. I get really excited. I smile a lot, and I'll be in my room, even now. But when we're all living together, they would hear me around 11 o'clock at night or in the morning. I'm like, hey, yeah, sick. I make noises. I'm like, yeah, woo. I do that. So you'll hear me do that, and you'll hear like a 3-second pause. Then John would be in his room. Yeah! And I know that they're just mimicking me and making fun of me. And then you would hear Cameron in the back, and then Azim, and then you just see the girls come outside of the door like, close the door.
Oh my god. That's amazing.
Or even randomly now, because John, gosh darn it, he lives in Georgia now, but he'll randomly put a voice memo out and he'll just be like, yeah. You know, I haven't heard from him in 2-3 months, and then yeah, so good.
Well, that's a great way to greet everybody again.
Best way. It's so
Right.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Last person, Cameron. Cameron Gibo.
I always think of Cameron because he knows how. He's a coffee connoisseur. He'll lead you to some good coffee. He has coffee spider senses. Like when we go to cons and we're walking downtown, he's like, wait, this way. You know, or we're all getting there because they start them early and they want us to be down pretty early, sometimes like 6 or something. And he'll just be there with like a cup, like ready to go, blowing on it. You guys ready? It's gonna be a great day. And everyone's still waking up like, I'm talking to me. But he already has that cup. He's like, hey, let's go, guys. Come on.
That's amazing. We need him in our lives. We love coffee.
Yeah, everyone just has their hood on, like, he's like, hey, I'm already pumped. It's right down the street. We're called Coffee
No,
Brothers.
seriously.
That's great.
I think he has his own ID for one, his own Instagram for a coffee fan.
Right? He needs that. Like, I've seen him post about coffee, and I'm like, where does he find all these unique-looking cups of coffee?
Right?
I feel like he needs to be endorsed by a company or come out with a coffee brand. He would kill it.
I would definitely support anything he's endorsed by.
Like since he was a 6th Ranger, just have it like the 6th Bean. Like that's the brand, the 6th Bean. I don't know.
That
could be a winner.
that would definitely.
But he has to wear that wig, though. Like,
Yes.
he has to wear that wig.
I don't look. That was look. He was just like shaking his head, you know, a little bit around set. Where I think playing with Point Break a little bit. You know, Keanu Reeves or like Keanu's character in Point Break. You know, because we're shooting on the beach. Do you guys remember that movie? It's so good.
I don't think I do.
You should check it out. Point Break.
Point Break. Okay.
Everybody has long hair mullet.
You do realize he just created Cameron's logo, right? Wake on the beach with a cup of coffee. The
Yes.
6.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. That's it.
You need to tell him. Tell him it was our idea.
Yeah, we need 10% for sure. We need copyrights.
Right? Or free coffee for life. We'll take it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'll take the free coffee.
You're one of those people, huh? She's like, so you get 15% off. You're like, well, how about free? For life.
Right?
You're just like,
For life.
we're here, and you're just right up there. Got you.
Well, I mean, come on. Good coffee is hard to find. So if you can find us good coffee, I want that for life. Forget me trying to find coffee.
I'm right with you. It's funny. I'm not a big fan of Starbucks, but I went on a health run yesterday and to grab a couple things, and I saw the line at Starbucks drive-thru was like 8 blocks long.
What?
I was like, dang, people, are making excuses to get out of home for whatever reason, but I'm sure they're feeding that really good coffee. Because you only can have that office coffee for so long, that drip coffee. Like, I'm losing my mind here. Yeah. So,
oh, yeah.
Oh, I drove past In-N-Out yesterday. That line had to be a quarter mile long.
No.
Are you serious?
Quarter mile long, where like people in their car, you know, both sides have their legs hanging out the window. You know, when they have the leg on the window thing.
No.
They're like chilling like this.
Oh my God.
Their cars back. All the people bumping their radio. Dogs are in there. Kids are screaming.
God. Your own Night Owl studio? Could you tell us a little bit more about that? What do you guys do? What are you guys all about? And why the owl logo? I mean, not that I'm comparing you, but it looks a lot like Drake's.
Oh, thank you.
It's good. I actually prefer yours over Drake's. It's got much more details.
All right, well, we need to get that on paper. Okay, well, the inception behind it was, well, first I'm a Native American Miwok Indian.
Oh, okay.
And my spirit animal is an owl.
Oh.
It's something that was given to me, but I feel more at ease at night. I have very sensitive eyes for one, but I have acute hearing, and I just feel like my more purposeful at night, and I'm more creative at night. So Night Owl Studio also represents together as oneness. You know, just because it's like a prey animal doesn't mean that it's alone, you know? And our motto is, if we're all not winning, we're not winning.
Wow.
So it's kind of like Knights of the Round Table.
Yeah.
Actual knights, you know, but owls. So that's how why it's a K instead of an N for night owls.
Ah, that explains it.
So yeah, we pretty much we work in the night.
We
do a handful. We do music videos.
Okay.
We videos in the past couple of years that have gone off to do really well. We've done a short film that's done pretty well. It's called Spilt Milk, and I'm actually going to be releasing it on Amazon for this quarantine.
Nice.
Bringing it back last year, but I'm going to bring it back for this year. Not enough people have seen it, and it's on mental health conditions between two brothers. So that was amazing. Got to work with great people on that. It's also developing scripts and producing television. I can't tell you everything, but there's a show that's going to be coming out that I'm in August on a really big network. Rhymes with Refrix. And Night Owl Studios is able to make some music for them for the show and present itself on it. And we're just busy. We're busy doing everything. It's an open studio. You know, we don't really focus on one thing or another. It's really just a full-on creative studio through my direction. And I've just been loving the process of it.
That's amazing.
It's been a little overwhelming at first because, you know, you got to make your mark and you got to hit that mark. That's the thing. Making your mark is one thing, but hitting the mark is hard.
Of course.
It takes a lot of time. And as you guys know, what we do takes a lot of effort. I'm very, very little reward. I mean, editing these things, you know, making them clear, concise, the lighting, sound, everything that's to it. And then most importantly, the story. Wow. So we do music videos, we do fashion, print stuff, commercial, spec commercial as well. We do writing, full production.
Wow.
And we're growing.
That's amazing. I also noticed you guys have a clothing line. Could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so it's not a full clothing line. It's a merchandising shop. So it's stuff that for me, Andrew Gray, that I believe in. Like, for instance, I'm wearing one of my sweaters right now. It says Anti-Fear Social Club, right?
Yes.
That just says it all right there. So I'm going to keep this on there for a couple months. And if people would like to join the cause of, you know, being in a place where they're not fearful and that they're operating in their highest, truest self, then they can purchase that, and proceeds will be going to different foundations and nonprofits that I have attached. But yeah, I have face masks up there. That's what we need now, and I fully feel like that's going to be a part of the American culture, even the Canadian culture, the Hispanic culture for a while now, as it has been in the Asian culture. So I'm just bringing items over here that are needed, but are also fun, and I enjoy wearing them.
Yeah. No,
I'm going to come out with stuff here in the next month.
That's amazing. No, I noticed your face masks are really well done, and they definitely passed your lighter test. The lighter.
Yeah. I was having fun with that. I was like, ah!
And it's funny because I actually took that test, and I showed my friends the same thing because I'm like, these masks are not good. These masks are good because it passes the lighter test. So thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. You know, some people have written me saying, you know, your masks are really expensive. Why are they so expensive?
Really?
And oh, for sure. And, you know, I've also gotten a lot of negative stuff for it. Like, how could you make a profit during this time?
What?
But everybody just comes from their own perspective, and that's completely fine. You know, for me, if I'm going to put a product out there, it's going to be a quality, not a quantity. We're not here to save the world. You know, we're just here to do the best we can with the time that we have in the platform. And so I'm so happy they enjoyed that mask.
Yeah.
We have more.
Well, I'll definitely have to order some. Well, this brings us to a lightning round, where I'll ask you a series of questions, and you can take your time answering them. They're not really as short as I make it sound, but
okay. Lightning though.
Yeah. If you could have dinner with 3 people, dead or alive, who would it be?
Jesus. God. um, lightning around third one. Elon Musk.
Good choices. If you could have
No.
one, sorry.
God. I'm going to take out God because Jesus would be sufficient, and that's tangible. That's real. I would say the third one would maybe be Gandhi.
Okay, that's a good choice. If you could have one superpower, now you can totally make one up. What would you want it to be?
My superpower. No fear of death.
Wow. Okay. If you could
Because
live.
if you're for life or for death, if you're for life, then you live in fear.
Ah.
If you're for death, then you know death is inevitable. Death is life, and to embrace that. I don't know, then you live in no fear, and you can really take on everything with reason and calmness and purpose.
That's deep. That's real deep. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would you want to live? And bonus, your entire family and all your loved ones can come too.
Okay. It's hard for me to answer that because I haven't been to everywhere in the world.
Okay, that's fair.
But my recollection to where I've been, I would say somewhere in Mexico, like Zihuatanejo. And if that, let's say, was not an option for whatever reason, then I would say the Pacific North Coast above Fort Bragg in the the Sequoias / the Redwoods. I really love that place. Really love it.
Wow.
Which is very similar to New Zealand. It looks like Jurassic Park. Giant ferns.
What?
Huge trees. It's an oasis. There's always like fog until like 11 a.m., you know?
Wow.
It's really beautiful.
That sounds like a real Stephen King situation too.
Right?
It reminds me of Seattle a lot. It's just lush. You know, there's always like green moss everywhere. Yeah.
What is your current favorite TV series or movies that you would like to share with us?
Miss America is my favorite TV series right now.
Okay.
Kate Blanchett is my favorite actress. I believe almost ever.
Yeah. Really? Wow. That's a unique answer. We rarely ever hear that.
I would say another one is Great. That's on right now as well. That's on Hulu. What else is current right now that I'm watching? I'm into a lot more films and television. But I would say just one of my favorite shows that I still watch all the time is Peaky Blinders. Love Peaky Blinders.
Now, this is totally for my personal reason. I'm debating on starting it. Is it worth it?
Well, do you want to be obsessed or not?
I do.
Then the answer is yes.
Okay. Okay, it's on my list, so thank you for that.
Great. That go in throughout the seasons, and it's just amazing. It's like Breaking Bad good, you know?
Oh, okay. All right. Then I've been putting it off, but I will definitely look into it. Now, we may already know this, but I'm just going to ask you anyways. Are you a coffee or a tea person?
Coffee.
How do you take your coffee?
I love coffee, but I do love me some green tea, some matcha. Yeah, for sure.
I hear you. DC or Marvel?
Why are you doing this to me? Like, you're just going to come into this interview and ask me DC or Marvel? What?
Absolutely.
Oh, God!
Absolutely.
Marvel. Go Marvel. But the thing is I fell in love with Batman, the cartoon. And then I fell in love with Spider-Man, the cartoon. And then it kind of just took off into X-Men. So, Marvel. All that just...
What would be your favorite Marvel movie then?
My favorite Marvel movie? Man, you guys are going to hate me. because a lot of people hate this answer. I really love Apocalypse X-Men.
I like that one too. I heard a lot of negative things.
And I feel like they did him like injustice. He should have had 3 movies just for Apocalypse.
I agree.
But I scorched it.
I agree.
Like, just that alone, they should have brought a whole series just from when he scorched the earth. Like, I want to know. Like, when he did that Egyptian thing all the way back then, come on. You're like, yes.
Yeah.
The real and stuff. Like, that was thousands of years ago. I love that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And a lot of people that I spoke to just totally hated it. I was like, well, I liked it.
And see, I don't even look at, like, the movie, but more about, again, it's the idea of the movie that I love.
If you could be 1H forever, what age would you be? However, I'm talking like physically. So like, for example, I could be 18 for the rest of my life, but my mind can still develop, expand, and like create, like, you know, like, I guess be older than I should be, but my physical being would be 18.
Well, let me ask you a question before I answer your question. Do you know what it's like to be 60?
No.
Neither do I, so I can't answer.
But I could probably assume that it can't be the greatest, since all these 60-year-olds are complaining about hip replacement and knee replacement and not not being able to do this and that, and all the old folks are always telling me, don't get old. And I'm like, oh, I'm trying not to.
Yeah, but usually the ones that say that are pretty out of shape. I've never heard like an Iron Man who just like broke a world record be like, getting old sucks. You know, I don't. But let me answer the question. Let me answer the question the best way I can. The age I'm at right now, 33.
Okay.
It's Jesus's number. It's a number that I feel, for me personally, I'm finally accepting who I am. And I've gotten out of my way finally. I'm not self-sabotaging anymore. I can finally feel okay with being full of myself in a positive way. Like, my cup runneth over. When I grew up, people were like, you're so full into yourself. You're so egoed out, whatever. And now it's like, you know what? I have a voice. I have an opinion. And it's all valid.
That's good.
You can unsubscribe or not listen, and we don't need to further this relationship, but it'd be 33 because obviously, you see, I even shaved my head. I've been so fearful of doing this. First time I shaved my head is when I was like 6, 7, or 8 years old.
Wow.
And that's when I was at my 100%. But I've allowed, after 6, 7, and 8, being my full self, out of my insecurities, to break me down. So 33. Keep going. Sorry.
No.
I can keep going. Hour on that question. So I don't.
No, that's good. It's also nice to see the reasons behind it, because everyone has their own, obviously personal reason. There's no judgment there. So it's kind of good to see that you're like, no, I'm comfortable because I've got to the point of where I am and I'm truly who I am today, and that can continue to grow, so that's good. A deeper question too is, what would you want your legacy to be?
How I loved. At the end of the day, if all the lights shut out and there's nothing more, and if there is a God, I'd like for him to judge me on how I've loved myself and others in this world.
Wow. That's good. That's good. This is our last one for today. And obviously you may not be able to predict it or share a lot of it, but is there any future projects that you can share with us that we can look forward to?
Yeah, I have a show coming out in August. I can't really tell you much about it because I'm contracted not to, but just look out for it. I guarantee you're going to see it everywhere. And it's on one of the biggest platforms in the world. And I feel like that is going to launch a lot more opportunities for whatever they may be. But I think around August, there's going to be some good stuff coming. Okay,
that's good. We'll keep an eye out. And lastly, where can the people find you?
Sure. I'm not really on, I'm on IG, Andrew Gray. I have a TikTok, Andrew Gray _ at the very end. You can find me on Twitter, Andrew Gray with 2 Y's at the end. and I am not on, I don't believe, any other sites. No, but I'm mainly on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, Facebook too. Andrew Gray on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
But I'd like to keep on with. I'm starting to get better in my TikTok game. It's getting a lot better. I've had to figure out what I wanted to do with it first. Now I think I figured it. Are you on TikTok?
Yeah, I'm on TikTok. Yes, I am. But mine is mostly like pet videos because I'm not about the whole I'm a savage life.
That is a great response. That's perfect. Dog mom.
Yeah, I'm not on it at all. I don't. The TikTok bug haven't bit me yet, but we'll see.
It's like I've been scrolling, and like, you know, you can be about the savage game, which the 99% are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Works, you know, for whatever they want, you know, to attract. But I feel like what works the best is knowing your brand, knowing your audience. And there's a couple, 2 examples I want to bring up real quick, unless we need to go.
No, we're here.
But like this lady, she's I believe she's Korean, and she was like, "Hi everyone, this is your rich mom." So someone could buy something. Yeah, exactly. You love it. I love it too.
I love her.
Another one, she's Korean, I believe, and she's like, "Hi, it's your funny mom here. I'm going to teach you how to treat or how to compliment Asian women. First of all, if she's Chinese, tell her your culture is the most important culture out of all the Asian women or all the Asians.
She ain't wrong.
And you're going to get that date, right? She's going to give you that number or something like that." Then she's like, if you go to a Japanese person and say, "Do you know how to dress in brands and you have the cleanest food?" Then everybody, the way your cities are made, then you're going to get that, you know? And she was like, and if it's a Korean woman and you want to go on that date, just say, "You have the softest, creamiest white skin I have ever seen, especially over any other Asian. You're going to get that kimchi," she said. And I'm like, boom! So,
Dad.
all right, guys, I'm the funny mom here. So you just brand yourself with something right off the bat, and then every single time is going with that same dialogue.
Yeah.
Now that lady, I'm the rich mom, she's like, you have to post 3 times a day, morning, noon, at night, every single day. And it's really easy when you go like that. So I'm created mine. I'm going to create mine, but I figured out what it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to be hey, it's the homie here talking about whatever. Because when the homie talks, you listen to your homie.
Yeah.
Facts.
You want to say, "Hey, it's cool, Dad." You're like, "All right, cool, Dad. You better tell me something cool."
Yeah.
All right. But if it's your homie, you're like, "You know what? I might listen to that." Okay.
There's another one. I don't know his exact name, but I think you might like. I think it's the TikTok grandpa or the funny grandpa, and it's similar. And and it's funny how you mentioned those 2 exact accounts that I watch and love.
You can be the dog mom. You can be the dog whisperer.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because, like I mentioned, I'm not the savage. I'm not about the savage life. So I figure, you know what? I'm just going to put a bunch of videos together of my dogs and just go with it and see what happens.
And dogs get way more attention than humans do in general. I mean,
I've noticed that. And
it's still good time. I have to tell you that right now. This has been great. I'm so sorry for the jump around, but we made it. Timing's everything. This has been fun.
No.
It's been a lot.
No, thank you for making the time to be here with us today. I had
Absolutely.
a great time.
Anytime, guys. Anytime you need me, let me know, and I'm here.
Wonderful.
No problem. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This is another episode of Tribunal on the Grid, where we talk about all things Power Rangers. My name is Brandon.
I am Lena.
And we will see you next time. Bye.